Hello YouTubers, this is cessnaace back again with another video. As you could probably tell by the thumbnail image that I used for this video, I am going to be showing the contents of two boxes of homebrews for the Atari 2600, 7800 Pro system, and Jaguar. Now, one box contains complete in-box games, and the other contains loose games, and for those I have gone ahead and placed all of the manuals in alphabetical order so that I can pull them quickly. I've gone ahead and done some pre-planning on this. Surprise, surprise. I got the cartridge and everything out of the box for this one because it's pretty nifty what they did. This is a port of an arcade game by Sega. Now, it was originally going to be published by Coleco, but somewhere during the development process, work on the port ceased. Years and years later, a ROM surfaced of that game, but it was incomplete. So people in the homebrew community completed it and enhanced it so that that version plays more like the arcade version, scores more like the arcade version than what Coleco was originally working on. Both versions are on the same cartridge here, the unfinished but playable prototype and the completed and enhanced version. This is Turbo. Notice it says Coleco right there. They went the extra mile on this one, and instead of putting it on a standard Atari 2600 cartridge, they used a Coleco cartridge for the 2600. Obviously a donor cartridge. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it says Coleco. Plus they included a Coleco style manual, and this nifty thing. I would push in and show it to you, but it'd be out of focus. But in that stack, fifth from the bottom is Turbo. Pretty cool, I think. Okay, next up we have a pure homebrew. This is an original game, originally published by Ebavision. However, Atari Age has the rights to release reproductions of Ebavision games, and they all have a uniform design as far as the labels and everything, which is pretty cool. This game is called Power Off, compatible with the Atari VCS and 7800. It is a platformer. I haven't gotten very good at this game, but then I have had so many homebrews come in the last few months that I haven't had time to devote to this game really, but that will change. Next up is a homebrew port of an arcade game for the 7800. The original game came out for the arcades. It was released by Stern Electronics. Frenzy. Frenzy is the follow-up to another Stern arcade game, Berserk. Now what's interesting about this release is on the same cartridge there is a brand new port of Berserk for the 7800. And both have the voices of the robot. Come back and fight like a robot. That sort of thing. If you like Frenzy or Berserk, I recommend this game. Okay, this one is for the 7800, and it took quite a while to get because I first had to go on eBay, procure a Poke chip, have it shipped to me, then I shipped it to Atari Age, and then they processed the order because this game utilizes the Poke chip, which was a chip that Atari used at the time for the 5200 and also in their arcade games. In fact, their arcade games typically had anywhere from 2 to 4 Poke chips in them. Since I ordered this, Al at Atari Age has sent me the address where I can have Poke chips shipped directly to that address from a seller on eBay. If I go on eBay and buy another Poke chip, I could have it sent directly to that address for Atari Age, and they will get it much faster, and it's a lot less work for me, and I don't get around as well as I used to. Anyway, this is, it says Crystal Quest, but the full title of the game is Bentley Bears Crystal Quest. And I first played this game on my emulator. It came preloaded. I got the emulator, EMU 7800 version 2.2, for free at the Microsoft Store. I think they also sell a version for the Xbox One of EMU 7800. And it came preloaded with a lot of homebrews for the 7800. But my personal preference, if I can possibly work it out, is to play a physical copy of it on an actual Atari piece of hardware. That stack better not fall. Okay, this is a homebrew port of an arcade game for the 2600. This game came out for the 2600, or a port of this game came out for the 2600 back in the day. It was published by Parker Brothers. And while it was an okay port, this port is much closer to the arcade original. Of course it is, because it was developed by Champ Games, which is led by John W. Champeau. Super Cobra Arcade. And one of the nifty features about this game is an earlier game that they did was a port of the arcade game Scramble, which was kind of the predecessor to Super Cobra. Well, from the menu you can select to fly either the Cobra, or I should say Super Cobra, or the spaceship from Scramble. I highly recommend this game also. Speaking of highly recommended, this is a homebrew port of an arcade game, and if you were playing it blindly, I mean, well, not blindly, but you couldn't see the console it was on, you would swear it was being played on a more powerful console than the 2600. This is a really good homebrew port from Champ Games, published by Atari Age, of Mappy. I probably should have opened these up because games from Champ Games come with generally a 10-inch by 12-inch poster that replicates the artwork of the box, but you can see that right here. I'm sure most of you out there have played one port or another of Mappy, so you know what it's like. This has, and I was surprised when I read this on Atari Age's site. Well, I'm not surprised that it's an Atari Vox Enhanced, but that's for saving your scores permanently. The music is on the cartridge. This uses, I believe, the melody board, CDF mode, and there is a credit for the driver, the sound driver, and I believe it's a MIDI sound driver. So how cool is it to be able to play a game for the 2600 that has MIDI music files? Anyway, this is a really awesome, I hate to be repeating myself, port of the arcade original. This is a shooter for the 2600 that is totally original, but it's really good. It has a rather generic sounding name or title, Space Game. But this is a game that I like a lot. Okay, this next one is for the Jaguar. Now, if you go to the forums at Atari Age, you'll see, if you know what you're looking for, that there have been somewhere in the neighborhood of 75 to 80 homebrew ports or conversions of games that originally came out for the Atari ST computer but have been ported to the Jaguar. Now, the vast majority have not been given a physical release, but this one has, under license. Treasure Island Dizzy. Now, I don't know if I should do this because I paid extra to get this, and I can't get it out. Don't know what that was. I'm not going to pull it out, or unwrap it. Clear shell cartridge. Now, they have the follow-up game up now, available for pre-order. It has the option of a standard gray cartridge or a clear cartridge or an emerald green cartridge. And they have another game up for the Jaguar that is also a homebrew conversion of a game called Speedball 2 Brutal. It gives you the option of standard gray cartridge, clear cartridge, or red. Anyway, these are released under license. And on the Treasure Island Dizzy game and its follow-up, they're going to be releasing all of the Dizzy games for the Jaguar. The proceeds go to a video game museum. I don't remember the name of it right now, but really cool. And this includes save states. I don't know if the new one does or not. This also supports the Atari ST mouse, with an adapter, or a Commodore Amiga mouse with an adapter. Or you could use a standard Atari Jaguar controller. Okay, that is it for the boxed ones. I was wondering what fell. Okay, I showed this game before, but I had a problem with it. Anyway, I got it from Good Deal Games for the 2600. Alien Attack. It is a shooter. The problem is that the end label was peeling off really badly on both sides, and it came that way. So I sent Michael at Good Deal Games an email, and he said, I'll send you out a replacement end label with your next order. But he didn't wait for that. He went ahead and sent me 2 end labels, one a spare, or a backup I should say, in case I have problems getting this on and staying. But I cleaned the end of the cartridge very well, very thoroughly. Dried it very thoroughly, and then had my wife apply the label, because I sometimes suffer from tremors, and well, I do. I'm just under medication for it. Sometimes the medication does its job and sometimes it doesn't. But that was really cool of him. And the follow-up game to this, from the same programmer, another shooter but in a different style, Alien Revenge, with an exclamation mark. This one I had no problem with on the end label. I'll go ahead and show this. Card for Good Deal Games. Homebrew Heaven. They have games for a lot of systems. And not just Atari. Okay. First up, we have a homebrew port of an arcade game. Yes, another one. I usually put these back in the wrapper they come in, just to keep them nice and safe. Juno First. The manual. Okay, next up, I believe this is a completely original homebrew. There are actually 2 games on this cartridge, and talk at Atari Age in the forums is that there's a 3rd one, but it's hidden. This is Phantom 2, which is a shooter. No, really? Yes, it is. And the other game that's on this cartridge is Pirate, which you can select either one of those from the menu. Not many games from back in the day had menus. Atari Age usually sends me one of their unused stickers with every order. Generally, they give me one for every cartridge, except for some strange reason, the boxed ones. But I have a whole envelope, or baggie, full of these things. They used to send out refrigerator magnets. Anyway, this is a reproduction of a game, Homebrew, originally released by Xype. Is that how you would pronounce it? XYPE? This is Thrust Plus Platinum Edition. Da, 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 da. Okay, this is a multicart containing all original Homebrew games. I meant to pull it out and show it, but I've got a multicart from Atari Age that has been out of print. It was discontinued quite some time ago, because it contains the game Fix-It Felix Sr. Gee, I wonder why they had to stop selling that. This is the 2005 Minigame multicart. Now, the games include Marble Jumper and Hunchy. They have since come out with a Hunchy 2, which is a separate release. It's not on a multicart. Jetman and Knight Rider. A shooter called Zirconium. And another shooter, Rocket Command. And a game called M4. Now, I haven't submitted a request for M4 to be added at at highscore.com, because there are 72 variations, and I'm not submitting 72 variations. Some of the games I did submit requests for, and they are in the system at highscore.com. For example, Zirconium and Rocketman. Okay, a homebrew for the 7800. This is the standard edition of Worm by Mark Ball, published by Atari Age. I noticed that a lot of his games were preloaded in that emulator that I downloaded for free from the Microsoft Store. I don't know if he made some kind of deal with them or what. You know what? I didn't pull the manual for that one. I did for this one. Another homebrew. This one was originally released in the last polished version as Warring Worms. This is Warring Worms, The Worm Returns, with RE being in parentheses. A snake style game. I haven't submitted this one to highscore.com either, because it has a lot of variations. Okay, this is a homebrew port of an arcade game, but it's not the version I meant to order. They have a boxed edition with the game on a Coleco cartridge. Anyway, this is another port from Champ Games. The game is Ladybug. Okay, another totally unique homebrew. For the 2600. Invaders Amiss. This is a platform style game that I have to be honest with you, I haven't really tried it yet. I didn't show that, did I? But you know what? I didn't pull the manual for Ladybug. I'm not sure I pulled the manual for this one. This is a Space Invaders style game, very much like Space Invaders, called Rainbow Invaders. Now, when you shoot the alien invaders, power-ups and power-downs drop, and also fire. It's hard to distinguish between the two, which is fire and which is a power-up or power-down. One is a thin vertical line and the other one is a slightly thicker vertical line. So I generally pass them up. So I don't want to risk being shot. This game is in the database at highscore.com. You may not think it would be, but it is. I didn't pull the manual, but I did pull the cartridge for that game I told you about that's been discontinued. That multi-game, multi-cartridge. It includes Fix-It Felix Sr., discontinued, Pinata. Okay, earlier I showed you Frenzy, which included as a bonus a brand new port for the 7800 of Berserk. This is a brand new port of Berserk for the 2600 that is voice enhanced. That is, it has the voice of the robots. Got quite a stack there. I purposely am not showing the custom reproductions that I have purchased recently because I'm going to save those for a separate video. Besides, this video is getting pretty long enough as it is. This is a homebrew for the 7800 that is based on a radio program. And I believe it was designed by the host of that radio program. Anyway, I've never seen it for sale anywhere except on eBay. It is called Lava Lamps and 8-Track Theater. This is an action game, and it takes getting used to. This is the manual, a bit thin but oversized. Not even in color, but it tells you what you need to know. Okay, I think I failed to pull a lot of cartridges. This is a really addictive game. It is an adaptation of a game for the Intellivision from, I believe, '82 called Shark. This game is called Go Fish. The shark, or sharks, I should say, plural, don't show up until you get further into the game. But when they do show up, woe be unto you, the little fish. Or the more you eat, you grow, so you get bigger and bigger and bigger. And the smaller fish dart away as soon as they sense your presence. But there is a way to get to them. If you get right above them or right below them and go down or up, you can sometimes surprise them that way. Now, this says Atari Vox Enhanced, and supposedly there's voice synthesis in this game, but only to be heard if you have an Atari Vox, which I don't have. But it's a really fun game nonetheless. And you don't need to use a fire button except to start the game, because all you have to do is touch the fish you want to eat, and if it's small enough for you to eat, you can eat it. If it's slightly larger than you are, you die. And you don't get but one life. It breaks down the points by size of fish. I'm already past the point where you get 20 points for eating a particular fish. By then the sharks have shown up. Now a good avoidance tactic, if you're waiting for fish small enough for you to eat, you can't see it on these screens because they don't show it. But at the bottom of the screen there are reeds. If you hide in the reeds, then you won't be bothered. But eventually you get so big that it is really hard to maneuver, and if you're down there amongst the reeds, to come up, because these big fish are going by. And you have to be careful because sometimes even the largest fishes will dart across the screen so fast you hardly have time to react. But it's a really cool game. Okay, this is another homebrew shooter. And I see I didn't pull all of the games because I still have manuals. This has recently been added at highscore.com. I am the one that requested it. Galactopus. It reminds me kind of Name This Game by US Games, I believe. Except it's more intense. Timber. You know what? Well, first of all, I don't think I showed that. Or that. Or this. The octopus in this game, or I should say the Galactopus, drops things that you need to try and pick up, and sometimes they're being dropped at the same time fire is, and they're right practically on top of each other, which makes it difficult. The manual is written as if these are actual creatures. In fact, there was a photo taken of one. Okay, now I did pull the manual for Pinata. This page has Heartbreak, Ping, and Joyride. Flip side, on the right side, but on the left side, Fix-It Felix Sr. Now, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games that I did not show you that I have, some for the 2600, some for the 7800. I'll go ahead and show this because I probably showed my other copy. This game has the option of getting a blue label with a blue manual on the cover, or the blue cover, or red. I already have the blue. I've momentarily misplaced the game, so I ordered it again on red. But that still leaves 2 games for the 2600 and 2 for the 7800 that I haven't shown yet. So I'll have to save those for another video. Until next time, stay awesome.